For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
And we are live. It is Tuesday. We're here a little early, a little 7 o'clock for you here, but I am Sean Stanley. He is Mr. AEW Frankie Fresco, and we are the Squared Circle Digest. Frankie, how you doing this fine Tuesday night?
What's going on, Skip? I mean, Sean, sorry. I made a mistake.
I'm going to have to get the badge too now. I'm going to have to get the little hello sticker.
Yeah. How's everybody doing tonight? A little bit early.
So
it should be fun.
Yep. No, it will be. Listen, we were on Friday night. Not a lot has happened from then to now. So, you know, we had a collision. We had a Raw. So we'll have a little bit to talk about here. You want to jump into Raw first, or we did AEW first last time because it was the happening, and there's not a lot happening right here today. We might be lucky to go an hour today. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, I think we should start with AEW because there's not that much to talk about in AEW today,
and there's probably even less in WWE. Honestly, man,
there is some stuff to talk about in WWE. Man, we got that big deal going on. It's official.
That's been done. It just now it's official. Now, last night was the last McMahon-led Raw.
True,
now it's Endeavor, but nothing's changed. He's the head of the board. Come on, man. Nothing's changed.
I don't know about all right,
that. Let's go AEW, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. AEW, Frankie Fresco. Oh man, that's good. We're gonna miss the little belts, man.
Well, you know what?
Put on the hat.
So if you guys know, today I'm trying a new mic, right? And if you look at it,
you're a little low. You're a little low, Frankie. At least on my.
Hopefully, I'm not that low. Let me see. I'm raising the gain on my microphone. Does it sound better?
Yeah, it's just your levels on my board are not real low, but a lot lower than halfway. So
let me see something. Let me try one last thing before we continue. So let's try raising this up. How about now?
Definitely better.
Okay, good. All right, cool. All right, so let's talk a little bit about AEW. Not too much happened. Like I said, we were here. What? It was on Friday. We were on Friday.
It was Friday night. Yep, Friday
night.
So
the only two shows that went on was obviously Rampage, which I'm gonna be real honest with you, I did not watch. I didn't even watch it. So shame on me.
How many people?
But I did watch Collision. Collision was pretty good. It wasn't bad. I mean, let's start with first the numbers of Collision. Collision numbers went up. We are now at 476 on Saturday. And Sean, you said to me, you're like, Frankie, college football and all that stuff. And I told you wrestling fans are wrestling fans.
Yeah, but you're going to get 400's not that good.
I mean, they were at one. They were like at one.
Yeah, because again, it's like everything else. Once you hit rock bottom, all you can do is go up. I mean, if ratings got below 300, you might as well just shut the show off.
Yeah, you kind of do. What's up, man?
What's up, my man?
But I mean, I was the first one to go ahead and say it. I thought it was going to take a big impact because of CM Punk leaving, but apparently not. People are tuning in. People are still watching this.
You're going to have again, and Vince has said this, and everybody said it, and test time and true, man. People are going to be upset, but no one person is bigger than the company, man. That's the thing that seems to always come out on top.
Do I get it?
No, not gonna happen, buddy.
It's too low. Damn it. We'll figure it out. It depends. I'm trying the mic. It's just for this one. Maybe I'll bring it more often. Maybe I won't. Well, and also last week was Payback. So they were going up against Payback. They were going up against obviously college football. So you had a little bit of both. So
you probably had the people that didn't tune in that went to Payback. The 100,000 increase is probably the wrestling fans that watched the Payback. There's no other wrestling on. They probably went over to give you your boost.
Yeah, it is. But on a positive
note, to be honest, I'm not gonna sit here and look. I know I trash and I mess around on the show and trash Frankie all the time. That's not a bad number, man. It's better than what I thought, honestly. I thought they were going to end up staying at 300 or going even lower now that football has started. But again, not a great number, but again, they're not worried about numbers. They're worried about where they rank on the night. And I think they ended up being like 5 or 6, but that's because the top 5 were college football games. So I think they were number 1 as far as everything else. So again, I think as long as Warner Brothers, are getting that from that show, it's going to stick around. And I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, whatever you want to call him, is going to, again, I think he was part of the creative before. So I don't think anything much is going to change. The only thing that's going to change is that CM Punk isn't there. And again, what it might affect is the people that loved CM Punk. But so far, none of that's come out. So
all right, so let's dive in a little bit more. So, did you get a chance to watch Collision? Were you one of those 476 that were watching?
I didn't get a
chance. All right, so a couple of things happened in Collision. Number one, I didn't
hear what you said though, because you really froze up on my end. I don't know what happened.
Really, I did freeze up.
It said, "Did you get a chance?" And then you're.
Oh man, okay. Did you get a chance to watch Collision? Is what I was trying to say.
I did not watch the whole show. I did watch bits and pieces of it and stuff.
Okay, so one thing that happened in Collision was obviously the idea that Tony Khan wants to bring in Bryan Danielson as the replacement to CM Punk. And one thing that Bryan Danielson did on the show is he revealed that he's going to retire, that he has about 1 year left, and then he's gone, man. He promised his daughter, I think it was. He was like, look, I'm done. I don't want to be here after.
He'll do one-offs. He'll do one-offs. Yeah. He'll be Brock Lesnar for AEW.
Well, they were saying that they wanted to kind of move him to the creative side of AEW.
But he is there now. He's there now. He's just doing both. And so I think what'll happen is, like you're saying, like he'll take a backstage role, but every once in a while you'll get that Daniel Bryan, push for somebody is what's going to happen. Because you cannot just, because he even said, like, he's done full time. He'll go more, if something opens up or they need somebody to fill in, like what happened with CM Punk. Oh, we need you kind of back now. Because to be honest, I don't think he was supposed to come back this soon. I think they're going to play it up a little bit longer. He was healed. He was cleared, but I don't think they wanted him back as quickly as he had to come back at this point.
I think
only my opinion about
it. The other thing what I've been informed is that supposedly he is gonna stick more to Collision and not show up as much on Dynamite.
Yeah.
Which, once again, I think that's the right decision. Keep the roster semi-split. You know, I know Britt Baker is making her return to Collision, or making her debut in Collision. I don't know if she was before.
Yeah, but I
Maybe
mean,
she
you can
was.
have them jump every once in a while. It just you got to
Yeah,
make
once in a blue
those
moon.
one-off appearances mean something. You know, like if they're in
Exactly.
Pittsburgh, you bring in Britt
Well,
Baker.
that's
you know,
why
things like that.
they're in, I think, Penn State, and Britt Baker is from Penn State, so that's the reason why they're bringing her over. The other thing is, we saw the return of Jade Cargill. So Jade Cargill made her way back. Everybody was not expecting Jade Cargill to make her way back, but hey, she's back. There was always rumors saying that she wanted to retire and try something different. There was always rumors that she wasn't enjoying her time in AEW. And then out of the blue, she just comes out and says, "Hey, I'm happy at AEW. I'm glad to be back and I want to do big things." It didn't get a big pop at the actual event. I didn't get the crowd to like really wow, hey, Jake Cargill's back. It kind of was like, okay, she's cool, she's back, okay, welcome back, okay, have a nice day.
Yeah.
But nothing big. But I think what happened here is they need to give her different opponents. I mean, I felt like they kind of gave her like the lower end of the females when it comes to wrestling. I felt like they were giving her like not the lower end kind of sounds
But
rough.
you also have to remember one thing is that the people that she was being fed were for a reason, so she could basically job them and everything else.
That's the girl. They were jobbers.
She does not have, she's doing great and she's doing great, but she's rough around the edges. She's green as far as her years in the business go. So I think, the way they were doing it before was just getting her ready. And I think honestly what she did, and again, I don't know this from anything else, but I bet you she was attending some, the Nightmare Factory every once in a while and everything else, just honing the craft a little bit more than what she was. Because there were times where, look, do I think she was ready for the TBS title? No, I don't think. But I think that, it allowed her to elevate with the title as well. So I don't think that was a mistake. And then also the whole thing with the TBS title was it was supposed to go to Chris Statlander. She wasn't supposed to have it as long as she had it.
Correct.
She had it that long because Statlander got hurt. And the whole plan was that Chris Statlander was going to be the one to beat her, because when you start doing the winning streak and everything else, you don't just have somebody beat you out of the blue. It's got to be somebody that meaningful and everything else. And I think they did it right with Chris Statlander. But also, I don't think they kept her away long enough. And again, it's one of those things to where, as you were saying, she said also, I'm kind of done with wrestling, kind of done with AEW. I'm going to do my thing. And then this, and then out of the blue, I just think it was one of those things where maybe people just weren't expecting her to come back. And then it was kind of like, oh, hey, look at that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the other thing I feel like what they should do with her is they need to push her. I think she needs to start getting some real wrestlers that are like not jobbers to help her out. I think she's up that now. Like she's fought quite a few people. I mean, Taya Valkyrie was a good opponent for her, and obviously Chris Statlander is a pretty good opponent for her. But throw her in there against Ruby Soho. Throw her in there against I don't know, Willow Nightingale. Throw her up against those girls. That's the only way you're gonna find out if she's made for this or not. That's how I feel. And if you want to get the most
also,
out of her,
if your push is for her to be something, though, you don't want her to get out there and get lost and look lost, because then she'll get eaten alive. Which is why I think this whole time she's been working on her craft low key, so that she could come back and work with the Ruby Sohos and the Britt Bakers and the Willow Nightingales and the Sky Blues and all that stuff. I think that's what she did. Because again, the problem with AEW is you're wrestling every Wednesday, maybe a Friday. Then they got the Saturday show. Or maybe you were on the dark, episode, so you might have gotten a little bit of extra matches there when they recorded those. But there's not a lot of time where you're getting to that's what the house shows are for. So you can get that, the timing and everything. You can make the mistakes there, and only the crowd there sees it, except now with social media, everybody will see the botch because, of course, with AEW, they find it. They'll take a picture of the empty building. They'll do it. It's honestly, man, look, I'm not saying I'm sitting here stepping on the mountain of AEW, but it's to the point now to where, like, bro, like, okay, it doesn't draw as much, but there's been times when WWE was in the same boat. WCW was in the same boat. It happens. There's times where people don't show up. And also, I've never seen ticket prices for a show so damn high.
Wait, for AEW?
Yes.
What do you mean? What
For
shows are
AEW ticket prices?
Not for their regular Dynamite and Collision shows. Probably their pay-per-views have gone up, but not the AEW Collision, not the Collision and the Dynamite, because their tickets were usually range about $20. If you want to sit in the lower section, 100, 120 maybe. Front row. I remember when I went to the one in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, was it Fort Lauderdale? No, by where the Panthers play, and I didn't pay that much, man, to be on like the third row, and right behind the ring. So I paid like what, maybe like $140 per ticket, which isn't that bad for third row. Now WWE is a little bit pricier, especially when it's a Monday Night Raw and when it's SmackDown. Their road show was not that expensive. I remember the road show one that they had here in Coral Gables was like, I think $30. I don't know. I mean, but maybe their pay-per-views have gone up. Maybe they're asking for it. I mean, if they are all in.
The last time there was the last
Yeah, I tried the BB&T Center. So when I went to BB&T Center, I sat on the third row with my brother, and each ticket was like about $130, $140, somewhere around there.
But you got those the day of the show.
I did,
yes,
but
they lowered the price the day of the show.
Yeah, no, but
now they're just trying to sell the ticket.
But the original,
that's what I'm saying though, is a lot of people don't do what you did and go online the day of the show and look.
Do not tell the secrets. Do not tell my secrets out there to the wrestling fans. But they do. Honestly, they were going for like about $220, $240, somewhere around there. But I got them for like $130. So I got them for $100 cheaper. So again, would you be willing to pay $220, $230 for third row, maybe? Because that was the price of the third row, first row, second row. It was like all those, which isn't bad. But I know Monday Night Raw and SmackDowns are a lot more expensive. That's why those tickets, I technically don't like to spend that much money. I'll just pay whatever, like somewhere around where it's decent seats. What's up, Joe Romano? What's up, Memo, Chad, No Doubt? What's up, guys? Starting the show a little bit earlier. I think Sean is trying to look up and see if there's some prices.
Yeah, they've got second row tickets for $307 for Dynamite and Rampage, which is tomorrow night.
So it's kind of up a little bit, but it's not that bad. $300 for a second and third. I mean, I'm pretty sure diehard fans are
Cincinnati, Ohio, bro. Like you think
somebody LeBron James,
that's
baby.
for one ticket. That's for one ticket, $307 a piece. You take a family of four.
What's the cheapest ticket though?
$1,200.
Okay, what's the cheapest ticket though? Cheapest ticket should be somewhere around $20. $20, $30. And that's cheaper than Raw. If you guys have been to Raw or SmackDown on the chat,
so you can get Raw.
Let us know.
$56.
That's the cheapest one?
Yep.
Oh damn, that's a little bit pricey.
Hold on, sorry, $40.
Man, that's not that bad. That's not that bad.
Yeah, but if you see those seats, they're up in the damn. You might be sitting there by yourself. That's what I would do. I'd buy the $40 and move down because they're probably going to move you down.
Maybe what they're doing is that they're trying to stack up on how they did so well on All In, and that's why they're trying to raise the prices. I guess maybe that's what they're doing.
Yeah, but they've always been, because I follow. You follow the WrestleTix, right? Do you follow WrestleTix?
Yeah, of course.
And so they show them out there. I mean, I think what they do is they start them at a certain price and then they monitor it down as it gets closer to the event. So again, that's everybody does it. WWE does the same thing too, and it's a tried and true work. You sell what you can for the highest price, and then as you go closer to the event, bam. He says, Chad says, my buddy works for the Heat. About 3 years ago, I was filling for Raw. Pretty cool experience. Got to sit in. Yeah. The only thing that says, like, every once in a while, they're like, all right, sir, we need you to move back. You know, it's like you're just constantly going. It's like, I don't know. But it's fun being a seat filler.
The other thing that we wanted to bring up, and again, we don't have that much to talk about when it comes to AEW, is the fact that the All Out numbers came out for the pay per view, and it looks like they range somewhere around between 73,000 to 96,000. So they actually sold less than 100,000
Yeah,
in
but that
All
was
Out.
expected after All In. I mean,
So this is the first pay per view that they didn't even break 100 in a while. So
yeah,
that's
but I mean, it was the week after, and you just had your probably one of their biggest pay-per-views selling. I haven't seen what All In did, but I mean, I didn't think that one was going to do, because hey, to me, it was like that. What was the card where we were messing with WWE with Asuka and Io Sky, and we were like, oh, this is not going to be that good of a card, and then everything overachieved. And when we went back to recap it, we were like, it was a hell of a card. That's kind of what this All In card.
Was that the Bad Bunny one?
Did. I don't know if it was Bad Bunny one, because I thought Bad Bunny was going to. Was that Io Sky? Was that card?
Well, Io Sky fought Bianca Belair that game in that
Maybe
card.
that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe it was that card. Maybe it was that card. But I always said that the main event I thought was going to be Bad Bunny, and that it would deliver. And the pay-per-view, I thought the card was okay the way they did it. It's just a matter of where they worked it. But I thought the All In card was it was, to me, when you looked at it, it was a Dynamite, right? I mean, I was a little bit maybe a little bit tipped up Dynamite.
Yeah, because you had the strap match between Ricky Stark and Bryan Danielson. You also had Takeshita versus Kenny Omega. Who else did you have in that card? I forgot who else fought in that card.
Orange Cassidy and Moxley.
Oh yeah, that was I think that was the main event. I think
you
that
had wasn't it Bullet Club Gold against FTR and the Bucks?
Yeah, it was a 4-on-4, but they didn't have like a street fight or anything like that.
No, they didn't have anything like, I don't think like that at all.
Yeah, they didn't go. I mean, it was a decent card.
It ended up being a great card. I'm not gonna lie to you. It ended up being a pretty good card, but I just think that it wasn't one that you're gonna spend another $49.99 after you spent $49.99 the Sunday before. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm paying $49.99 for that other card, how the hell you expect me to pay $49.99 for this card?
Well, they should have done a package. That's what they should have done.
Well, they wanted to, but they couldn't get everybody to agree all the different, because they're on so many damn different things. They couldn't get everybody to agree. So you got to go with whatever. Because again, Bleacher Report to them, they're like, look, if they order it, they order it. I don't care. I'm going to get $50 per show for whoever orders it. I'm getting $50. I'm not lowering my price. So
the other thing that the last two things we want to talk about was there's buzzing news that apparently Saraya and Trinity from Impact Wrestling, there's a chance that they might go up against each other. Now it looks like they've been going at it one against the other on social media, and it looks like Trinity they're working something to bring her over to AEW. Maybe it's a one-off or something, but they want to bring her over that way she could fight Saraya. What do you think about bringing Trinity over now to AEW?
I go back to the whole thing that it didn't work out before with them. It didn't work out before with Impact, and when they brought over Omega and they put the Impact title on them, and then there was a whole bunch of like, they wanted certain people to, and again, Tony Khan was looking out for AEW, and that's what he's going to look out for. I just don't think these matches ever work out. Do I think the in-ring stuff is probably going to be kick-ass? But I just think behind the scenes, it's not going to get worked out, because you're not going to have Trinity, the Impact champion, lose to Saraya, and you're not going to have Saraya, the AEW champion, lose to Trinity. Because my understanding, now again,
it's kind of hard,
is Trinity under the Impact deal I heard was like she's doing like an every 6 months or something like that. So now could it be getting as it gets closer to there, and then maybe she loses the Impact title, and then she's coming over to AEW? Now that might happen.
Now if they're able to bring Trinity, I don't
see them doing an inner promotion anymore. I don't see that.
What's up, Terry? If they're able to bring in Trinity and they're able to bring in Mercedes Moné, and they just got CJ Perry as well. Jake Cargo came back. Statliner's still a champ. Saraya's riding on a high. Britt Baker's still strong. Apparently, word on the street is that this girl, the Mexican one, man, what's her name?
Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa's supposed to be making her in-ring return to Collision soon. So, I mean, the women's division is looking pretty solid in AEW. I'm a little bit impressed.
Right, yes. If they book it right, yes.
You know, you got Willow who's doing her thing. I mean, you got so many
people I feel bad for are
your
Sky Blue, Billy Starks, Willow. I feel bad for them because if those other, Monet comes in and Jade Cargill just came back, and then you bring in Trinity and all this other stuff, you get lost in the shuffle, man.
Well, I think that's where Tony has to be selective and making sure to still keep pushing those girls because
Nicholas, shut up.
That would be great. But
why would she go to AEW?
Because AEW she would be the biggest star in AEW. Now,
how'd that work out for CM Punk? You think Ronda Rousey isn't as much of a diva as CM Punk? She could even handle WWE. WWE is like, okay, you tell us when you want to leave.
Well, now that you bring up our boy CM Punk, of course, I always have to have my CM Punk segment. And I wanted to talk a little bit about CM Punk. The last thing we want to talk about, of course, on the AEW side is CM Punk. So there's a couple things that are going on with CM Punk. Number one, our boy Ryback, he keeps talking crap about CM Punk, and we're upset. So Ryback, stop talking crap about CM Punk. Kevin Nash, another guy out there talking crap, saying he bring over CM Punk over to WWE and to bring it to Royal Rumble, and then he'll actually make a guest appearance in Royal Rumble and whoop CM Punk's ass. So it's like, yo, stop taking shots at this guy. What I did want to bring up is that I did my research, and CM Punk is technically still signed to the UFC contract that he has. So the only reason UFC does not have a contract binding with CM Punk is because technically he retired. So if he decides to make his way back into the drug doping testing that they do, technically he's signed to UFC again. And who just did a merger?
It still doesn't work that way.
WWE?
Vince and Triple H and them would still sign people. You can't have someone enter a UFC deal and work. They'd have to end up with a WWE deal.
Wait, hold on a second, sir. Did you see? And this is why I wanted to talk a little bit more about the WWE side, because they're saying, hey, WWE and UFC want to join together and start doing shows together. They want to do road shows together. They want to do like a collaboration where you actually have the experience of wrestling and mixed martial arts. They're also talking about, there was an article that said a lot of the wrestlers could actually once they're done with the UFC, make their way over to WWE. So why wouldn't CM Punk be able to technically make his way back to WWE if he is in good standing relationship, which he is, with the UFC and Dana White?
Because he's not in a good. I heard Nick Khan today say, we wish CM Punk the best of luck in his endeavors.
Did he say no?
Else. But here's the deal, bro.
He didn't say no.
Look, I could see him come back for a Royal Rumble and get the pop and everything else and to be there. But again, I don't think you get a long-term angle because I don't know who wants to work with him.
Everybody wants to work with him, man.
Bro, no, you want to work with him.
You want to work with him.
You want to go all Deshaun Watson on him.
You want to work with him too.
No, I don't.
We need to bring him over as a guest.
No, I don't need that.
We need CM Punk as a guest. No, CM Punk, if you watch the show, hit us up.
Mr. Punk, like, bro, really, man? Really? I can't ask him a decent question because he might choke me.
No. He won't choke you. He only will choke Jack Perry because he sucks.
Okay. Right.
But I am interested to see if there is some type of loophole for him to make his way over to WWE, which in reality, you said it. Nick Khan did talk about it. I did hear about it.
I think
he did not say no.
Bring him back for a one-off, an appearance at SummerSlam. Appearance at the Royal Rumble.
They're not going to do a one-off.
But to sign him to a long-term contract, that's not going to happen, man.
Remember, Vince McMahon is not running the show anymore, my friend. He's not running the show.
Hold on a minute. Who is the head of the board of directors for TKO?
For the WWE side? For the wrestling side? Because I know Dana White's for the MMA, and Nick Khan is supposed to be for the WWE side. That's what I heard. That's what they should be. The CEO is supposed to be Dana White for MMA and Nick Khan for WWE, and then the chairman, like the creativity is still Triple
Here we
H.
go. Given our collaborative, trusted relationship and Endeavor's incredible track record of success growing UFC, we believe WWE is optimally positioned for future growth and success as part of TKO, said Vince McMahon, executive chairman of TKO.
Okay. But he ain't the only one calling the shots, man. So I'm telling you right now. And let's keep it real. I mean, I don't wish him anything bad, but this man's up there in age, man. He just had spinal surgery, so maybe his time is up. Maybe his time will be soon approaching. He can't show up anymore to the ring and all that stuff. I don't think he's doing that. He's up to par with his age. You never know, man. I like CM Punk coming. I know Triple H is the type of guy who's willing to give everybody a second shot. He brought all those wrestlers from NXT. You're not telling me he wouldn't be able to try to work with CM Punk? I think so, man. And I think it will be the right decision. Believe me, the numbers for Monday Night Raw. Woo! Did you see those numbers for Monday Night Raw this past yesterday? How they got hurt?
Yeah, dude, it's Monday Night Football. Dude, you sit here and you do this whole thing about Saturday, football, nobody, you're wrestling purists. Dude, I'm telling you now, man. Monday Night Football had 22.6 million, set a record for Monday Night Football. You'd think it's not going to – I told you wrestling gets affected every time, Monday nights. That's why Thursday Thunder was ridiculous. They took it off because they're like, this isn't working.
No Doubt is asking, is Ken Shamrock the first person to move from MMA to wrestling? Was he the first person?
No.
Who was the first person? Do you know?
Dan Severn is the first that I know of.
Dan Severn did wrestling too?
Yeah, he was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Wow, I don't remember that.
And that was back before I even started training. Like that was back then.
Maybe that's why I don't remember.
And again, when you classify it, you have to remember MMA wasn't what we know UFC is today. So, there were strongman competitions and all that stuff. So there's some of them that did that probably.
Didn't Tank Abbott also make his way?
Tank Abbott did, but that was after Dan Severn. I mean, I think Tank Abbott was even after Ken Shamrock. Ken Shamrock was like one of the first like big name people to come over from there. But I believe Dan Severn would be the first that I can think of. And he was doing the NWA.
And technically, who had the best career as from jumping from MMA to wrestling? I think Ken Shamrock, no? Because Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler.
Longevity, it was Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, he was good.
But also, he had the machine behind him. I mean, Vince was in love with him, dude. I think the only person that he loved more than Shamrock, I believe, was Lesnar.
Yeah. There. Well, at the end of the day, there's a very good chance, in my opinion, that WWE tries to go after CM Punk. I'm just waiting.
I'm not going to say they won't go after him, but I believe it'll be for one-off performances, like maybe a 5-performance contract or something like that. I don't think they bring him into a 2-year deal and he put him in a program is what I'm saying.
I just think the pop would be so big for them to just
the pop's going to be big, of course.
Like a 5-show thing. I don't think so.
Of course, there's going to be a huge pop when he comes out.
Sign him for a year.
Again, there was a huge pop when he came out, and the numbers went up. What happened after that?
Now
what happened after AEW? What happened? It went up, and then where'd it go?
Word on the street is saying that supposedly he is not interested.
What street are you on?
I'm on all the streets.
Okay.
Word on the street is that New Japan Wrestling is not interested in CM Punk, and CM Punk is not interested in New Japan
Wrestling. There's a lot more over there besides New Japan.
I understand that, but it's supposedly because of the fact that the relationship they have with AEW, and then I heard that there is another contender. I don't know who it was. Somebody. It might have been. Is it Impact I think it might be Impact who's actually interested in CM Punk. I'm not sure. I read something that was saying that maybe Impact was on it. But I mean, technically AEW and Impact have a little type of relationship, but not that much. But I mean, wherever he goes, I mean, for the love of God, even if he goes to the one from this guy, the one who used to work, who was a writer for WWE. What's his name? Freddie Prinze.
Yeah, the Premier Streaming.
I mean, people will start watching. I mean, CM Punk brings people, man. Look, we always talk about it. I mean, everybody wants to see CM Punk. The whole chat board is excited to see where CM Punk goes. So everybody, that's why we have a CM Punk I'm gonna bring a CM Punk siren, and then every time we're gonna talk about him, I'm gonna hit that siren. That way, people know that it is our time to talk about CM Punk. But overall, that's pretty much what we got going on AEW. Not that much.
George Jefferson, this is my favorite thing. You're gone. First off, don't say anything about my mother. She passed away from breast cancer. So we're not streaming out of her basement. So I'm streaming out of my office. And you can kiss my ass.
What the hell did he say?
He said that it looked like we're streaming out of Sean's mom's basement. And also that the guy on the right there's not enough speech classes to help the guy on the right.
Oh, so, wow.
George Jefferson, you can kiss Wheezy's ass and see your ass to the dough.
Peace out.
Glad I got to finally. God, I felt good to do that to somebody.
We feel like it was Big O.
Yeah, but it's just like, bro, like, look, you want to come on and you want to chastise us and say we have stupid ass thoughts and things like that. That's fine. That's fine, bro. But to be honest, don't bring anybody else into it, man. You want to shoot at me? Shoot at me. I'm a big ass, grown ass man.
Same.
And you got George Jefferson. I'm sure that's your name, buddy. Chad says, I don't want to see him. Really don't care where he goes, to be honest. Look, man, I mean, we can sit here and say that and everything else, but look, CM Punk is a magnet, regardless, good or bad, however you want to look at it. And he's done good for people. I've seen people tweeting on Twitter about all the good stuff that what they've done for him, what he has done for them, in his wrestling, so things like that. So, one of the things is, look, I think you might bring him back in for the one-off pops every once in a while.
Yeah.
Find a program for him and things like that. I don't see a long-term deal coming with WWE. And to be honest with you, I don't think CM Punk would be smart to get laced into a long-term deal. Control yourself right now. I hate to do this because of EC3 and all those, but control your narrative. CM Punk can go and just get paid to go and one-off and probably make more money that way than he would to be laced down to a deal to do 5 or 6 appearances for WWE. So
I agree.
You want to do the top 5 now?
Yes, sir. So today's top 5 is actually obviously we're not trying to make fun of our boy Aaron Rodgers, but because he did suffer an unfortunate incident and he unfortunately got injured, I decided to go ahead and do our top 5 all-time worst injuries. Now, keep in mind, we're not going to go as extreme as a wrestler losing their life or anything like that. Obviously, that's not where we're going with this. We're just saying like the most, all-time worst injuries that we felt in the long run hurt or were a scary moment for our wrestler, for any particular wrestler in their career. So again, we're not talking about any particular person who might passed away. That's not
those are beyond.
Yeah, we're not trying to make fun of that. So those are sensitive topics. We don't want to talk about that, but we do want to talk about obviously some unfortunate injuries that we had on some of these wrestlers. So it should be fun as far as what our list consists of. As far as like stuff that we've seen that we're like, oh my God, we're shell shocked. So, what do you want to do? You want to start first, or you want me to start?
Yeah, but I also didn't do by shell shocked. I thought I did by like maybe the effect of 1, the injury, and then 2, the effect maybe it had on.
That's fine.
The wrestling scene there.
That's fine. That works.
All right. So my number 5. I actually have 4 people in 5, so they're kind of they're kind of all around the same way here. It was the British Bulldog's back injury when I think he took a slam onto the trap door that was for the Warrior to make his appearance from underneath the ring. Okay. And that ended up being a career-ending injury for the British Bulldog. Then I went to Shawn Michaels when he got injured on the coffin, which led to, where he went on his career. The Bret Hart concussion from Goldberg, which ended up resulting in Bret Hart's career being ended. And then another one from back in the day, Rick Rude. Him and Sting were wrestling in Japan, and he took a dive off of through the ropes and hit his back on they had it at the stage elevated, the ring elevated. He hit his back from there, and that back injury led to his in-ring performance career ending and him becoming a manager. So those 4 kind of were all my 5 or honorable mentions.
I mean, you're kind of cheating, but I get you. All right, that's fine. We'll allow the 4 names for your number 5. Thanks. For me, I wanted to go ahead and kind of change it up a little bit. Since we didn't make any honorable mentions, I will mention Big E's injury, like Memo did say. I do remember that injury. My number 5 is Candice Michelle. Candice Michelle was fighting, if I'm not mistaken, it was Beth Phoenix at that time. I think it was Beth Phoenix. And the reason I picked this one was because I guess she was on the turnbuckle, and then she literally landed straight on her head, and she was knocked out. And if you remember, guys, unfortunately, Tua had his hands all kind of messed up. Well, Candice Michelle had that as well happen to her. So when she was knocked out, her right hand started making those gang signs just like Tua. So because of that was kind of a shell shocker to me, and I was like, oh man, this is pretty bad. So my number 5 is Candice Michelle.
All right, my number 4 was Stone Cold neck injury, pile driver. For what it did to Stone Cold, he ended up retiring a couple years later with a deteriorated neck, and that kind of, I don't know how much further or how much more he could have picked up, but I don't feel like we saw everything we could have seen from Stone Cold, and I think that that neck injury. And it goes back to what DJ Mimo was saying in there with the Big E injury and also Josh with the Shane McMahon. I think that changed a little bit of what WWE could do. They kept him on the screen, and they did his little banjo playing and the what's, and him and Kurt Angle doing their thing. They found things for him to do, but I believe, he wasn't able to be that ass kicker anymore. And then he ended up taking his ball and going home anyways.
Interesting. Yeah. My number 4 is a little bit different. It's an old school one. This happened back in 2002. This was after, I believe, ECW. It happened on XPW, and it was Vic Grimes. Why are you laughing?
Because that wasn't an injury. That was an assault.
Okay, so if you guys haven't seen this, ECW, when they went out of business, XPW used to be one of their competitions, and
know the backstory to why this incident happened?
No, why didn't
on a pay-per-view? It was Vic Grimes against New Jack, and they were on a scaffold type thing. At that time, it was supposed to be Vic Grimes was supposed to take the bump, and he hesitated and he took too long. And by the time the whole thing happened, New Jack ended up going through the table, and Vic Grimes landed on his face and messed up his jaw and his what's that eye? The eye
eye socket?
Not the eye, but what's it called? They do all the time when they talk about their somebody help me out on there. It's basically he came down and he just basically crushed his head and everything else. And New Jack was out for a long time.
Wait. This was what he did was it on top of a...
They went through a table.
Oh,
but
okay.
Because Vic Grimes waited so long, when they turned over, Vic Grimes, big guy, came down on New Jack's head after they went through the table, and his head...
Oh, okay. Yes, I did see that.
Yes.
I did see that.
That led to this incident because he said, you're not going to hold on this time, and he went and he got a stun gun. to make sure he couldn't hold on.
What happened with with New Jack, and FYI, I love New Jack when he was in ECW. New Jack supposedly after that incident that you're talking about, he was having like headish issues
he was
afterwards.
out. He was out for a while.
No. Like after he recovered, he was having a hard time sleeping. Like he would have like issues and like I don't know how you call those, but he was having issues where he couldn't sleep, and he was like remembering those issues. He lost, I believe,
some part of the sight in his eye.
On his right eye. He lost a part. He can't see anymore from his right eye. I remember that. I do remember seeing that as well. But the Vic Grimes one, if you guys haven't seen it, I don't know what it was. I don't remember what type of match that was. What kind of match was that?
They made it up. ECW had it. It was called like a Stairway to Hell match where they stacked tables on top of each other with them on a scaffold. And, you know, I mean, the match in ECW was the fake Undertaker, Brian. I'm drawing a blank on his name now. Can't think of his name now, but Tommy Dreamer and Brian, I believe was his name. I can't think of his first last name. Damn it! But they did that match, and then that transpired into this XPW match where New Jack just launched him.
Really?
He launched Vic Grimes. Like he said on other interviews, and again, it's wrestling, so half of what you hear and half of what you see, nothing what you hear. Yeah. But he said he was trying to throw Vic Grimes to the floor.
Well,
and if you watch it, Vic Grimes barely hits that last table, which hints him into the ring rope, which, you know.
Well, if you guys take a look at it, you'll see that he completely misses all those tables. He hits the edge of it, and then his foot flips over and hits the ropes, and then that's when that guy was almost out of it. That was just too crazy for my end. So that was my number 4, Mr. Vic Grimes getting almost killed. Intense.
My number 3 went back to Scaffold Night of the Skywalkers. It was the Road Warriors against the Midnight Express. The match was over. They chased Jim Cornette back up the scaffolding. The whole plan was he was going to hang on the scaffolding and then finally fall down to where Big Bubba, the boss man, Big Bubba at the time, was supposed to catch him. Problem was, Jim Cornette swayed and swung a little too much because he was doing his act, didn't want to get hit by the Road Warriors.
Of course.
Flung straight down, fell down like a ton of bricks.
Yes.
And shattered both his knees. And then it went crooked sideways out. And, that's my number 3 because when I watched that first, I was like, I think that was the first time I seen like not a blood injury, like blood or something. I saw like bone, like you saw the legs just did like an L, like I was like, okay, I don't know that that's supposed to happen.
I remember that.
That was an interesting time.
My number 3 is actually going to be a homer, and the reason I say this is because I'm showing a little bit of love to our local wrestling here in South Florida. It is CCW, and it is when Cha-Cha Charlie was actually wrestling against Ariel Levy. And I know a lot of you guys probably haven't gone to any CCW events, but this particular event I was able to catch live. And what ended up happening was it was a street fight, and Ariel Levy grabbed Cha-Cha Charlie and threw him against the stairs. And I guess Cha-Cha was not expecting to land in that position, and the edge of the stairs cut him completely on his right side of his head, which started gushing out blood like if it was a nightmare scene. It was just dramatizing, and the most dramatizing thing is that I actually got to see it live, and that was the most, like, I don't know how to say it. I guess the most dramatizing thing I've ever seen in wrestling. Like I've never went to an ECW event live or anything like that, but just seeing something like that happen and how much blood it was, I know it's representing CCW, but man, for me, it's in my top 5 because that was dramatizing. And if you guys don't get a chance, have never gotten a chance to go to a CCW event, you should. I'm not saying that all their events end up that way, but some of the stuff that they do wrestle and some of the moves that they do is kind of very very out there, kind of like AEW, and that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy CCW and enjoy going to their shows. So number 3 for me, Cha Cha Charlie. Shout out to Cha Cha.
Yeah, you can check him out at ccwalive.com. That's ccwalive alive.com. My number 2 was another one that looked like out of a horror movie. It was Joey Mercury taking a ladder straight to the nose and shattered his nose. I was watching the pay-per-view. It was the Hardys against Eminem at the time, Mercury and Morrison. And Mercury and Morrison were on the rise. And basically what they did was Jeff Hardy, they put a ladder down, had another ladder teetering. They had the 2 Eminem guys, right there on the ladder. I don't know if you can see, but on the ladder like that. And what was supposed to happen was they're supposed to, put their arm there. But the ladder sprung up so quickly, Mercury didn't get it there and took the ladder straight to his nose, and his nose shattered.
Oh, I saw that.
And all you saw was just like, at first, I don't think WWE knew, because during the pay-per-view, Mercury rolls out of the ring. Like you're like, what the heck? And then they got his hand on his face and he pulls it down, and it's just like, it doesn't even look like he has a nose anymore. It's just nothing but blood. It like shattered his nose. And that was one of the times where I was like, ooh.
Well,
and also I got a chance to actually work on a card with Mercury before he went to WWE, and he's a good guy. And to watch that happen was like, oh.
Well, what that also, his gushing of his face reminded me of? Eddie Guerrero. I think Eddie Guerrero had one as well, where he's like, I don't remember exactly what happened to him, but his whole face was like plastered in blood. I don't remember too much in detail, but I remember seeing that he got seriously injured once, where his whole face, I don't know if the chat remembers that, but definitely Eddie Guerrero got like fully blooded. Like, it was really bad. I don't remember exactly which match it was, but I do remember seeing something that I've seen that before. My number 2 is Hardcore Holly. And Hardcore Holly was this is the ECW, WWE ECW, I guess. Where they tried to throw Hardcore Holly through a table, and
this is what I always talk about, where his back was talking to him.
Yeah, man, and that
was to move it, more blood would leak out.
That was gruesome. So if you guys get it, so obviously when me and Sean went up to go see a CCW event, Sean told me about this story, and I had not seen it before, so I went and Googled it, and I was like, holy crap. And then you see his whole freaking back is like wide open now. And what was it? What is that piece in the middle of the table that they took off?
What happened? The metal lining on the table.
Okay.
A lot of times, that's why they're removed. That's why sometimes the tables like break so easily, because they take the reinforcement out of them now because of that incident. They didn't on that table, and it just so happened the way he went through the table was perfect, to where when the table broke, it was just that piece of metal that he fell onto. Like he said, his adrenaline was going. He didn't even know it. He didn't know it. He was like, until the ref said something to him, and was like, but it's just like, that's why a lot of times you'll see the metal pieces taken off the tables. Just that is what happened. And again, it was a freak accident, because I've seen metal pieces on these tables all the time. Nothing's happened. But again, one time is all it takes, and then you see what changes need to be made.
And then also, he was able to finish that fight even afterwards. So that's
Robbie and Dan. Yep.
And Hardcore Holly, his name speaks for itself. He actually would never complain about anything.
Well, you know how his career ended, right?
How did his career end?
Brock Lesnar broke his neck.
Oh.
Well, let me rephrase this, because Hardcore Holly went on record and said it was not Brock Lesnar's fault. What happened was, it was a mistiming issue on a power bomb. Holly didn't go all the way up, and then he stuffed him.
Damn.
And it broke his neck.
Sucks. All right, who you got number 1, man?
My number 1 is probably the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. A 350-pound man, 6'10", going to the top rope to deliver a big boot, and then his leg just turns into an L. It's Sid Vicious, yes.
And you want? Hold on a second. There you go. There's no other number one.
Look, man, how do you get talked into that? You're 6'10", you're 350 pounds. At what point did you say, you know what? Yeah, my leg could handle that. You're coming from you're like what? If you go up from how high he was, even if he steps off with one leg, you're probably what? 6 feet off the ground, at least 5, 6 feet off the ground. That's if you just step off and come straight down. He jumped up and out to deliver a big boot.
Yeah, it was bad, man. And the crazy thing, it was for the Sin pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
And he had gone backstage and told them, look, I don't want to do this. I mean, he was telling them multiple times that I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I remember watching that pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And I remember when the gruesome part is when he lifts up his leg and you
it goes
see
sideways.
literally
rolls. The foot rolls.
it's the most gruesome freaking thing I had ever seen live. I was like, what? Well, at least on TV, I was like, what the hell's going? That was kind of like one of the ones that like really like dramatizes you. You're like, yo, man, they made a big mistake. And he also tried to sue WCW for that, right? But he didn't win anything.
No, you can't. You're a performer. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. You can call an audible in the ring. Look, that's what they did when Benoit won the title in WCW because they weren't sure if he was going to stay. So what did they do? They told the guy, put your foot under the rope. We're still going to do the 3 count. And then if anything happens, then when TV comes back, we can say, well, your foot was under the rope, and then we can take the title back off of him. You can always are you going to get some crap from it? Maybe. But, dude, I just don't understand what the thought process was. One, to even say, hey, let's have I almost feel like somebody was like, okay, let's see how we can, rib Sid Vicious. And then it just not even the second rope, not even like the top rope. Let's go to the top rope and deliver a boot. What?
Yeah, it was bad. It was a bad decision. It was a bad decision by WCW, a bad decision by Sid Vicious, and it ended his career too, right? I mean, he was able to wrestle at least. I think he wrestled once.
Well, he wrestled some independents and some things like that, but nothing back to that level. I mean, he has a steel rod in his leg now.
It was terrible. It was a bad decision on everybody's end in that particular case. But hey, guys, if you guys have anybody in particular that we missed or you feel like we should have included, let us know.
Let me just tell you something now. I didn't include any of the, the Triple H, quad tears. Like those were bad. Don't get me wrong. And where they happened and everything else. But I feel like he came back better from those. Kevin Nash had one also, Vince McMahon had both during that one pay-per-view. I was going to put that on the list just because of when it happened. It happened at the end of a pay-per-view because it got messed up. It was a Royal Rumble. Batista and John Cena, they both went over and landed at the same time. They weren't supposed to. It was supposed to be one hit a little bit before the other. They didn't know what was going to go on. Vince McMahon had been sitting at a desk for 4 hours doing the pay-per-view, got mad and ran to the ring. On the way there, slides in, tears both his quads, and from his ass, he's got to tell them, restart the match, and the rest blending in like, what?
I remember that.
It was just like the way it happened was almost like a little bit comical, and it's one of those things to where you had all those injuries, the Shane MCL that just happened.
Yeah,
WrestleMania. I mean, you had all these, the Big E injury. I mean, I still am waiting. I mean, I think Big E's, from my understanding and reading, the tea leaves and everything, I think he's okay, just not coming back.
That would suck, man.
It would suck, but also he's been doing a lot of the NIL stuff and the tryouts with WWE at these other events. I think he's seen that he can be a part of the business through something else. Yeah. And I think he's okay with that. You know what I'm saying? And again, maybe he can come back and do like one-offs or something. Maybe he can get cleared, but I don't know that he wants to do that punishment anymore, man. It's tough when you're a big guy like that and you're punishing your body.
Well, then also I remember there was one of Trish Stratus, I think, that she got thrown over. I don't remember who she was fighting, and then she broke her elbow. I think that when she landed, she had broken her elbow pretty bad.
There was the Eddie Guerrero elbow one too. The first night that they came in. He did the frog splash, landed, and his elbow dislocated.
Oh. What about the guy from AEW? I forgot it wasn't during Ring of Honor that he's still Dante Martin. Was it Dante Martin? I think it was Dante Martin.
That was the table outside on his
that he flipped and he just broke his friggin' ankle right there. So it was just bad. But yeah, it was a little bit gruesome. Some of these. What about you? I think the one that you always mention to us is the one of you get hit on the head with like a pot.
Oh, it was a lobster pot. It was we thought it was the tins that you get your caramel popcorn in. So, again, we checked it before the match. Bam, bam, bam. We knew where it was. And then apparently somebody wrapped something else with the same colorish thing. We found out later. And it got picked up and thrown at. The whole spot was, I was at one turnbuckle. You know how a wrestling ring is.
Yeah.
He was at the other turnbuckle. He wound up, threw it, and I just stood there and bam, took it. And then I was like, oh, that was not what I thought it was.
Took it like a champ.
Mask, and I had a third head, and the mask was had no eyes or anything. So if I started bleeding, it's going to keep it in there and I could choke. Oh. So as soon as I took that, I had to loosen the mask just in case, because I didn't know what it was. It was just a growth on my head. But the worst part about it was we still had like 8 minutes left in the match. And the finish of the match was me taking a power bomb off the ladder, turning back in and catching a kendo stick to the head. And then going out of the ring because it was a triple threat. So to eliminate me out, one was going to powerbomb me. I was going to work my way around and then get the kendo stick. So I can't tell them because we're working the match. And, in independence, it's not like WWE. It's not as loud to where I can sit there and be like, hey, watch my head.
Yeah.
Because I got a thing. I don't know if it's going to bust or not. So I had to, if you watch it, I got, before they knew what was going on, they thought I moved my head to take, to kind of miss the kendo shot. But what I did, I made sure they couldn't hit the hematoma that was on my head over here.
Now, was it affecting your eyesight by any chance or anything like that?
No, it never affected anything. I just knew it was there. And then when I got back and I took the mask off, it grew another little bit. And then we put ice and everything else on it. And
by you mentioning that, it reminded me. Remember the one where Vader got poked in the eye or something?
Yeah. Oh, what about Mankind? Mick Foley lost his ear. His ear got ripped off between the ropes, and
that's some crazy stuff.
There's other things that it's just there's so many. It's just
yeah, there is, man.
And then Joe Romano said CM Punk time with AEW reminds me of Jimmy Butler with the Wolves.
At least we don't have today in the chat. What was that guy name? CM Poop, I think that was his name. Or Poop.
No, CM Dump.
CM Dump. Oh. I'm glad he's not in the comments.
Yeah, no. All right, we got a couple minutes. Actually, we'll have about 10 more minutes here, and then we'll get you guys out of here because I know Frankie's got something to do. Nia Jax returns to WWE, takes out Raquel Rodriguez, and then also takes out Rhea. It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to add to that, at least for the Raw. I'm sorry, the Raw era of the women's. I don't know what they're going to do with her. I don't know what they're going to do, how they're going to bring it back, how they're going to play it out. But I think it's good because it gives somebody new to Rhea, at least right now. And we'll see how it goes. But I hope, I'll tell you now, do not let Nia Jax be the one to beat Rhea Ripley.
Do you think they needed to bring Nia Jax? I think that was unnecessary to bring her back, to be honest with you. They have so much more talent out
there. You want Raquel and Rhea the rest of the time?
No, but you have other women on the
that can go with Raquel or Rhea.
Yeah, you could still bring. Who's out there?
Becky, maybe once she gets done with her whole, all that stuff. But
you could have had Zelina. You could have had I don't know.
Zelina we saw Zelina with Rhea. It was a good match, but is it believable? Is it do you honestly believe they are threats to Rhea Ripley as holding the title?
It all depends on the story. If you sell me a good story, they could be a threat.
Yeah, but the problem they got now with Rhea is she's quote unquote, How you want almost like the leader of the Judgment Day? How do you're pushing them to the moon? So how do you honestly, I think, and I saw it the other day, which was pretty interesting, was it looks like it's going to be, like a Judgment Day. And now if you throw Nia in, she could, she's part of the bloodline. Again, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like they're going to start bringing people in to be on Jay's side. Jay, who teamed up with KO against the Judgment Day. Now you start heading towards Survivor Series. Jay Uso, Nia Jax, whoever else they might be bringing in some other people, supposedly, whether it's SmackDown or Raw of the bloodline.
But
now you've got
what about Shayna Baszler? What about Piper Knight? What's her name?
They put Shayna with Zoe Stark. Shayna and Zoe are together now against Piper Niven and Chelsea for the tag team titles.
And Sonya's out for a while, right?
Yeah, she had an ACL tear, so she'll be gone for a while.
I guess it doesn't hurt to bring some new blood over.
It doesn't hurt. I don't. Again, if it didn't happen, I don't think it moves that scale that much. At least this way, it gives a fresher scent to the scene of the women, I guess, in a way. Just at least something new. Because what are you gonna do? Throw Natalya out there again? Seen it. You know what I'm saying? Like you've seen Zelina. You've seen maybe Shayna could be a formidable one if they boost her up a little bit more. I think she would have been better after she beat Ronda to go right into a program then, but they went with Raquel. So,
but I mean, what happened to? Okay, so you could have thrown Bailey at her. I don't know if
Bailey is, but I mean,
I don't know if Liv Morgan is still injured, but you could have thrown Liv Morgan. Yeah, but remember, the Judgment Day is now being pushed over to SmackDown as well because they have both the Universal, the tag team belts, so they're making their way over to SmackDown and Raw moving forward.
Yeah, but Rhea's still the champion for Raw, right?
Still, but you could still create like issues or like storylines with some of these girls over there. And what about maybe you could bring Lita? I mean, Lita's still in the roster, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah, but again, I don't know that you put the title with the way they're pushing Judgment Day. It doesn't make sense to me for anybody to beat Rhea right now. It doesn't.
Yeah.
To me, honestly, just feed her whoever, but it just doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know. There's so many potential people out there, in my opinion. Like, what about
flip people from SmackDown over to Raw? Maybe, yeah.
Oh, you could throw Dakota on her, Dakota Kai. She's not bad.
She's still injured right now, so
she is. Oh,
she's not cleared yet.
Damn.
Cleared for entering.
I mean, I don't know. I just felt maybe they jumped the gun bringing her over. I thought
you do understand she's been under contract since January.
Yeah,
like she's been under contract for a while. They just haven't brought her in until now. So, and maybe this was a Vince McMahon call before the Endeavor situation hit. So now that she's there, they don't cut her because again, Endeavor took over UFC and cut a bunch of contracts. I have a feeling there's going to be some cuts coming up.
And Alexa Bliss is pregnant, right?
Yes, I don't think she's had the baby yet.
I think she's pregnant. Yeah, so, maybe they're running out of people, I guess.
I mean, you start bringing up some of the NXT, maybe, but I think Tiffany Stratton's probably one of your.
Well, Becky's supposed to come.
Yeah, they're going to be on NXT here, starting now. So
yeah, that's another reason why I want to kind of catch that too.
Yeah, yeah, we got a couple more things I want to get over. The Raw number we talked about, it dropped Monday Night Football, and Jey Uso KO. I don't know what they're going to do with Jey Uso. I'll let it play out a little bit more, see where it goes. Again, he ended up super kicking KO, costing them the match. It was an accidental super kick, which was very mistimed and looked like it was really on purpose. But that's for here nor there. Let's put that on WWE botches.
You think they're gonna make KO a heel now?
I feel like he's the one you got to.
Yeah.
If you do anybody, it's going to be KO, I believe, because I think Sammy's just more over as a baby.
Yeah. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? I think now he's gone over.
Oh, remember, KO was at one point in time, he was a heel when he was doing the whole Stone Cold Steve Austin back in the day, and then like during WrestleMania and stuff. So to bring him back as a heel, we're used to seeing him as a bad guy. So
yep. Karun said, I missed the Jets overtime TD because I was too busy watching an old video of the Nation of Domination turning on Farouk on my phone. LMAO. That is, you're that guy that you're that wrestling fan, Karun. I love it. And the last thing I want to talk about was because I had heard a report that LA Knight had his contract deal done, or at least agreed on, which is why they were going to start pushing him. Now word has come out that contract's not done. They're talking about a contract, but they're still far apart on money.
I'm surprised about that.
So
man.
we'll see. We'll see. Again, half of what you see and nothing of what you hear. So we'll see, because look, if the Miz ends up beating LA Knight, then we know, okay, the kibosh got put on the push, right?
Well,
when you in the SmackDown match, right? There's SmackDown this week, I think.
Yeah.
LA Knight against the Miz, the rematch. If Miz ends up winning that, or they cost LA Knight, I think they're going to put the kibosh on the push.
Well, you had said that they had originally made and come to an agreement on a contract. When you said that to me, the first thing I thought was like, yo, that's smart as hell, because they weren't pushing him. So they were able to leverage the money they were willing to pay him. And now he gets a pop. So next time he's, you don't have to pay him more money than what he actually is worth now.
Well, the problem is, I think what happened is he's seeing the merchandise money, and he probably had a low, because a lot of those guys in their deals don't get a lot of money for their merchandise, because a lot of them don't get a heavy volume of merchandise. I mean, call it what it is. Not everybody gets, John Cena, Roman Reigns type deals on merchandise. And I think what he probably wants is a higher push on the merchandise revenue, because he can probably see, like, okay, let me see now. If I'm doing all this stuff, he's got the shirt already out. It's doing good.
Yep.
He's got LA Knight. If everything does good, I mean, you can make so much merchandise off of him. I got a feeling that's probably what the holdup is. It's not necessarily like the money per year. It's more probably the language of how much I get of my merchandise royalty.
Typically, how much do they get? What percentage or what?
Hold on a minute.
Do you have an idea? Because that's something I don't know, but it would be interesting to find out how much what percentage. Like, hey, it reminds me of, like, athletes and their brand, like Mampe for the soccer and Messi and these guys, how they get these large percentages for Adidas and for all these sponsors that go ahead and pay for them to promote their stuff. So I was wondering, that'd be interesting. I would assume that the most they would probably pay is what, like maybe 30-40%. I don't even think they would go even that high. I wouldn't go higher than 30%.
All right, so Cena gets 5% royalties on all sales.
Oh my God, it's nothing. Wow.
But his merchandise earned the shop $2.6 million.
Still, I thought it was going to be a lot more. I wonder how much. Let me see. How much does anybody know how much Mampe gets for his stuff?
Yeah, but you also have to remember, though, Mama's probably working at his agent and everybody's. They're working that with Adidas and a company. You're not working the company that you're working with. That it's kind of odd, because with wrestlers, you're independent contractors, so you're not like full-time employees, but then you don't get all these like benefits that I think you should. Because to me, I agree with you. 5% to me seems low. And if Cena's getting 5%, I mean, people aren't getting that, I don't think.
And Cena's probably one of the biggest stars still in WWE.
Yeah, and again, I'm going off of like people that are reporting this. I don't think anybody's seen a John Cena.
Wait, how much did you say? 2.1 what? 2.1 million?
6 million is what they said on that one.
So if he made 2.6 million and he's only getting 0.5. Wow. It's not getting a lot, man. Wow. I at least thought that they were going to go somewhere around 30%. At least the most 30. But man, 0.5? Wow. Or 5%? Damn, it's low. It goes to show you, man, it's the same thing with the UFC. Because when the UFC wanted to go ahead and do...
the UFC's even worse, because you can't. You can only...
they took it for that reason.
Yeah, you can only do what they tell you can wear there. Like, they've taken all that out of there, which is why... again, that's where like a lot of the problems happened with the WWE, with the Twitches and all the third-party channels, because they're making hell, Mandy Rose was making more money in her OnlyFans than she was making wrestling for WWE.
And that's terrible, man. That's
Think
sad.
about that.
That's sad, man, because you became a star in WWE and you're getting paid less than what you do doing OnlyFans. That's crazy.
Again, it's a business, and again, it's the whole thing about
It's like Paige. Remember Paige?
the U word. The U word has been never brought up in wrestling, but it's one of those things that's like somebody's got to be the first person. It'll never happen. It'll never happen because all they'll do is just get rid of you. That's what happened with Jesse Ventura. He brought it up. He was holding closed door meetings. Somebody from Venice Beach, California, in yellow and red.
Get him out of here.
Stooged him. And
terrible, man.
And Vince McMahon let him go.
But there is some good stuff and some bad stuff of having the U word.
Yeah.
There's some good and bad, but
Yeah, don't forget to hit that like button. Thanks, no doubt. I appreciate you there.
Yeah.
2 times here to bash Pepsi Phil some more. We already bashed him a little bit more. We're actually almost out of here 2 time.
Yeah.
So we've got things to do. And some other stuff there. But if he did get the 5%, it's only $130,000. So I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right.
That's impossible, man. He has to get more than that.
I don't think that's right.
He has to get more than that.
Make sure you check us out. Appreciate everybody that's been on today. 2 time, no doubt. Karoon, Joe, Check MP, DJ Mimo, Josh, Chad. Let's see. Nicholas, you were here. Dumbass statement, but yes.
At least it wasn't as stupid as that other guy. The one we had to block.
No, not as stupid as that, but yeah. Okay. I blocked my first person today. I feel good now. I feel good.
Yes.
Actually, that wasn't the statement. He said CM Punk to Royal Rumble will be a huge pop like when Edge came back. Yes, I agree with that. Where was the one where I made fun of what he said?
The Ronda Rousey
one, right?
Yeah.
Ronda Rousey to AEW would be a big splash. Yeah, like a turd hitting the toilet bowl.
Relax.
Kind of splash it was there. My dad, Terry. Appreciate you guys, everybody that tuned in tonight. We will be back next Tuesday. Same time, same place. Oh, shoot. Hold on. There we go. Can I do it?
Go for it.
Same bat channel.
There you go.